This video is brought to you by IXL, used by millions of students worldwide to get ahead in math, English, and more.
A graphic organizer is a chart or picture that shows how ideas, facts, or topics are related to each other. Learning to understand graphic organizers will make you a stronger reader. When you can make sense of organizers like a Venn diagram, a timeline, or a bubble map, you can find key information and better understand the text you're reading. There are other graphic organizers out there too, like event chains, tables, continuum scales, and others. But in this video, we're just going to focus on the three mentioned earlier: the Venn diagram, the timeline, and the bubble map. So let's get started. First, the Venn diagram. A Venn diagram is made up of two or more overlapping circles. Each circle shows information that's true for a particular topic. The area where the circles overlap shows where two or more topics have information in common. The Venn diagram we're looking at here compares two ancient civilizations, the Shang dynasty in China and the Old Kingdom of ancient Egypt. On the left is information that's true about the Shang dynasty. On the right is information that's true about the Old Kingdom. And in the middle, where the circles overlap, is information that the civilizations have in common. We need to use this Venn diagram to answer the question, which ancient civilization formed along the Nile River? Was it the Shang dynasty, the Old Kingdom, or both the Shang dynasty and the Old Kingdom? Well, first, let's look at the Shang dynasty side. We see that its people lived in East Asia in the area that's now China, and that they built cities along the Yellow River. Now let's look at the Old Kingdom side. We see first that its people lived in northeastern Africa in what is now modern Egypt. Second, we see that the kingdom expanded along the Nile River. And third, that its historical time period is also called the Age of the Pyramids. In the middle of the diagram, we see something that's true about both civilizations. They planted crops in fertile soil near rivers. Smart. Okay, so back to the question. Which ancient civilization formed along the Nile River? Even though both civilizations settled and planted crops along rivers, the only one that did this along the Nile River is the Old Kingdom of ancient Egypt. Nice work. Now let's look at our next graphic organizer, a timeline. A timeline shows an order of events by placing them along a line, either vertically or horizontally. Here we have a horizontal timeline that will include specific times and events spread along the line. The events are arranged chronologically from left to right, with the events on the left occurring before the events on the right. This particular timeline looks at the history of the civil rights movement in the United States. Here are the years when some significant events occurred. You can see the earliest year is on the far left, 1954, and the latest year on the far right is 1968. Let's get to work and look more closely at how events on this timeline are related. We need to decide which event occurred before the Freedom Rides. Our choices are the Civil Rights Act, Little Rock 9, or Bloody Sunday. To help us narrow down the possibilities, let's mark the primary event on our timeline that we're comparing the other events to, the Freedom Rides in 1961. Next, let's highlight the three events that are our answer choices: the Civil Rights Act, Little Rock 9, and Bloody Sunday. Now it's easier to tell which event happened before the Freedom Rides. Of our three choices, the Little Rock 9 is to the left of the Freedom Rides, which means it happened earlier in time. Both the Civil Rights Act and Bloody Sunday are to the right of Freedom Rides, which means they happened later in time. So during the Civil Rights Movement, the Little Rock 9 occurred before the Freedom Rides. Good job. Time for one more example. The next organizer we'll look at is called a bubble map. Why? Because it uses lines or arrows to map out how its bubbles are connected. Bubble maps can be used in many different ways. Some look like family trees and can show how people or characters in a story are related. Others might show the different languages that are spoken between people. And still another kind of bubble map is organized around a main topic with a bunch of subtopics, that is, more specific topics, scattered around it. That's the kind of bubble map we're going to look at now. In this example, the main topic and subtopics are connected by lines or arrows that show how they relate to each other. Each of the subtopics is more specific than the main topic, and the farther a subtopic is away from the main topic, the more specific its information gets. This particular bubble map is about the human body's nervous system. As we look more closely at it, we need to answer the question, which part of the nervous system gets activated when a person feels panic? Our answer choices are central, somatic, sympathetic, or brainstem. This is some interesting stuff. Let's get started. As we noted before, the nervous system is the main topic here. One quick way to tell that is to note that the color of its bubble is different from its surrounding subtopics. This is just one way a main topic can be set off. They can also be set apart by being placed at or near the middle of the map, kind of like it is here. Now, notice that there are two subtopics connected to the main topic, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Let's focus on the central nervous system side first and see if we can find the answer to our question. We see three more subtopics connected to the central nervous system: spinal cord, brainstem, and brain. Central and brainstem are two of our answer choices, but I don't see any information about a person feeling panic on this side of the map. So let's set these two answers aside and keep looking. On the right side of our bubble map, the main topic, nervous system, is connected to the subtopic, peripheral nervous system. And connected to peripheral are two further subtopics, somatic and autonomic. Somatic is an answer choice, but again, I don't see anything connected to it that reveals what system gets activated when a person feels panic. So let's set somatic aside too. That leaves us with one remaining answer choice, the sympathetic system. So let's pinpoint that system on the map. Oh, there it is. It's one of the two subtopics connected to the autonomic bubble, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Remember, the question asks which part of the nervous system gets activated when a person feels panic. If we continue to follow the bubble map down, the bubble connected to sympathetic says fight or flight. I've heard of that. That's the instinct that alerts animals, including humans, to either stay and fight or run away, take flight, when they're faced with danger or in a state of panic. And that's what the question specifically asks about. Sympathetic is the correct answer because the fight or flight instinct is a function of the sympathetic nervous system. Let's follow the bubble map again to trace how all of this information is connected. We start with the main topic, the nervous system. The nervous system is connected to the peripheral system. The peripheral system is connected to the autonomic system, which in turn is connected to the sympathetic system, which is finally connected to the fight or flight instinct. That's the beauty of a bubble map. It shows clearly how all these systems are related. So cool. Amazing work. The ability to read graphic organizers helps a lot with finding and understanding key information. Graphic organizers are also a great tool for note-taking and reviewing information from a text. And as a writer, you can use graphic organizers to organize your thoughts and plan your writing. I think we can all agree, for readers and writers, graphic organizers are excellent tools.
Head over to IXL.com for more practice on this skill and thousands more videos in math and language arts.